27-year-old Leticia Ramos Shahani's life is the epitome of virtue and diplomacy. She's made monumental achievements as one of the top-ranking women of the United Nations, as a career diplomat, educator, and politician. The younger sister of former President Fidel Ramos is renowned for her valuable contributions and pioneering initiatives to empower women. As one of the rare female diplomats during the 1970s, she rose above the challenges of an extremely patriarchal society. She has also enacted landmark legislation on women's rights, culture, education, agriculture, and foreign service, among others. This week on Profiles, we visit Mrs. Shahani at her home and dairy farm in Pangasinan to talk about life after politics. We look back at the phenomenal life of one of the country's leading figures, get her insights on some of today's most pressing issues, and take inspiration from her journey of healing in body, mind, and soul. Hi, Senator
Welcome,
Shahani.
Mitzi. I'm glad you made it to this little corner of ours.
Beautiful here. I love your home.
Thank you.
Tell us about this home.
Well, this is a Bobby Manyosa Bahay Kubo. He explained to me that the interior of a Filipino Bahay Kubo is always cluttered because one kubo covers so many rooms: the living room, the kitchen, the toilet, the bedroom, everything.
So you'll show us the inside. We'd love to see your home.
Notice the ceiling are made from reeds from the town of Bogalion, which is near San Carlos.
Yeah.
And of course, the floors are also made of bamboo, and using the Bahay Kubo concept, not so close so that the air can come in between the slots.
And I love all the light, display of light. You have a little quadrando here.
The lighting and the air.
The ventilation.
So no need for too much light, light bulbs, or
electric
no air conditioning.
Yeah.
So we are now approaching the main kubo.
Yeah.
And where I listen to CNN. This is Kamagong.
Yeah.
You see, this is a beautiful design.
Yeah, beautiful.
I bought this sofa in Cagayan. Notice this table. This is one big acacia tree, and it is a little rare, but you can see how old it is because
with
of
the rings. Yeah.
Manyosa wanted to have a chandelier. If it's at night, it lights up the kubo.
Yes.
You see?
So no need for a chandelier.
No need for a chandelier.
Yeah.
Now, so you have this beautiful view of the living room, which looks out into my property.
Yes.
So at least there will be no malls.
So it's all nature around you. Coming back to your roots, really, because you grew up in Pangasinan. Tell us about your childhood.
Yes, well, my brother and I were born in Lingayen, Pangasinan. And I had a very happy childhood. I was like a little tomboy running around and with the boys, so to speak. And we had no dolls. We had no play toys at that time. So we had stones, insects, beetles, salagubang, spiders.
Yeah.
And that made me have a sense of how important nature was. All of these memories and all of these relationships have pulled me back to the province. After, I've had a very full life internationally. I was with the UN for 12 years, and I've had really wonderful experiences. But to come back to your roots is a very big decision also, because it demands humility on your part, and you're not such a big shot after all. And to go back to where you began is really a wonderful lifetime experience.
Yes. Mrs. Shahani was greatly influenced by her parents, Narciso Ramos, a lawyer, journalist, diplomat, and politician from Pangasinan, and Angela Valdez Ramos, a teacher and civic leader from a prominent clan in Ilocos Norte. Mrs. Shahani became the first female ambassador of the Philippines when she served as ambassador to Romania in 1975. Her work has led to valuable contributions in the empowerment of women. You did a lot for women empowerment, and you once said that when you were a diplomat, it was very difficult. You were living in a man's world.
Maybe I was lucky that I participated in the women's movement, which was just beginning.
Yeah.
The international women's movement did not really come just automatically, just like that. It took really a group of us who were in the Department of Foreign Affairs, like Nena Manalo, Linda Tirona, who were all part of this international women's movement and who saw to it that we brought whatever international standards there were in women's rights also to the national level. And I think this is what made us quite influential among other ASEAN countries.
Mrs. Shahani married Indian writer and professor Ranjit Shahani, with whom she has 3 children, Ranjit, Chanda, and Leela.
Well, I became a single parent when my children were very young. You know, my youngest daughter, but she was only 20 months. Wow. And my youngest boy, Ranjit, was only 7 years old. So it is very hard to explain why a mother has very little time for the young kids. In fact, I remember telling my little boy, okay, you have to explain to me what you need in 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, very busy mother, diplomat.
Because I had to compete with the men in the Department of Foreign Affairs. A diplomat is not an ideal women's job because it is so demanding, you know. After office hours, you have to attend cocktail parties, formal dinners, where you have to look your best and be your most brilliant, you know, on foreign policy,
very exhausting,
etc., etc. But somehow I managed, but I knew that my children suffered from lack of attention. But in retrospect, I think I gave them the best education.
She was very busy when she was an ambassador, but she always took care of her education. My grandmother also helped us because mom was very busy in the foreign service, but she was always a good mom. I think it's her example to the Filipino women that if you focus, if you are well-minded, kind-hearted, but ambitious in the right way, you can go far.
After the 1986 EDSA revolution, Mrs. Shahani left her UN post when then-President Cory Aquino asked her to return to Manila and become Deputy Minister for Philippine Affairs. Shahani then served as senator from 1987 to 1998.
It was really a breeze running under the first Cory administration because people wanted change. And I hope that that part of our lives will not be forgotten because it was really a people power movement which came from the desire of the people to live in greater freedom and democracy.
These days, Leticia Ramos Shahani enjoys a much slower pace of life after politics. As a farmer, she divides her time between her urban home in Makati and her dairy farm in Barangay Tulong in Urdaneta, Pangasinan.
This is my room. As you notice, there are no doors because the air has to come in and out, you see. So I bought this. You might wonder, these are all made of bamboo, no?
Beautiful. See, it's so cool. I love this. Of course, the high ceilings because of the
high ceilings. This bed was made by the man who built this house. And then, of course, I have here, this is a typical Manyosa signature, the viewing deck.
Wow, what a view. This is an area where you also meditate, right?
Yeah, this is where you can see the sunset because that is the West Philippine Sea now. And at about 5 or 6 o'clock, this is all red because the sun is setting.
get a special tour of the Philippine Carabao Center demonstration farm that she's been developing with the Department of Agriculture for the past 15 years.
Let's give credit to ERAP, you see, because although, you know, they were making fun of him, they said, ay nako, ano ba yung Carabao English na nga? Ang iisang panukalang batas niya Philippine Carabao Center. So they were making fun, but I took it seriously because I read the bill and I said, hey, maganda itong batas na ito ah. So that's how I began to have relations with the Philippine Carabao Center. And its first director, Libertado Cruz, was a very good technician. So I had a good relationship with him. And up to now, this demonstration farm is really being developed by the Philippine Carabao Center and myself. And I hope to open the building, which you saw, Mitzi, into a school for dairy farmers, because I think you need to train. And to be a good dairy farmer is no joke.
Mrs. Shahani explains the local variety of carabaos don't make good dairy animals, so their carabaos are of European stock. They're fed highly nutritious Napier grass so they can produce more milk, which comes from pregnant carabaos and is not induced by hormone therapy. Today, we're lucky to witness the arrival of a new calf, which is named FVR, after Mrs. Shahani's brother, Fidel V. Ramos.
Hello, welcome to the world. Welcome to Tulong.
Resident veterinarian Dr. Edwin Perez explains the process of milking carabaos.
Ito po yung bagong panganak po natin at napapayag po natin kalabaw na pwedeng magpakita kung paano po gatasan. Dapat papaliguan po yung buong katawan ng kalabaw, including yung buong place, para po malinisan kasi gatas po yung hawak po natin. After paliguan, pupunasan po yung, especially yung po sa may ibabang bahagi ng tiyan, sa may dede niya. Then pupunasan po natin siya ng malinis na tela. So pagkapunas, hindi po basta-basta hinihila yung dede ng kalabaw. Dapat i-stimulate po natin para po yung hormone ng kalabaw pupunta sa utak po niya. Then magtratransmit na kailangan na niyang magpalabas ng gatas.
We also get special access to the milk processing plant where Shahani's Gatas Calabao products are made. Ana Pantoliana manages the plant where the milk is pasteurized and packaged fresh in small batches. Their products include pure fresh milk, chocolate-flavored milk, kesong puti, and pastillas de leche.
Binibili ng mga bata dito sa Urdaneta City yung aking ice candy na favorite nila. Mas mabuti na po sa kanila yung gatas ng kalabaw. Sa pamamagitan ng aking sahod na binibigay ni Madam Shahani, ako ay nakakapagbayad ng matrikula ng aking apo at saka yung pambayad po ng kuryente, pagkain namin, mag-iina.
Mrs. Shahani was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer in 2014. Her farm and rural home have become her sanctuary for healing, not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually.
I was given 1 year to live. So I said, so what can I do to help myself? So my doctor, I read a lot of books on cancer, and they said cancer is a disease of your immune system. So what you have to do is to strengthen your immune system. And how do you strengthen your immune system? You eat a lot of organic food, organic juices, which have no chemical components. It's so beautiful out here, you know, when you see all of these trees and all of these living things growing.
Former diplomat and Senator Leticia Ramos Shahani served as chairperson to the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations in 1987 to 1992. She continues to be a highly respected voice on national and international issues.
We're
we're seeing a lot of protests to the Marcos burial. And incidentally, you are related to Marcos. You are second cousins with Ferdinand Marcos.
Well, it's a delicate situation, Mitzi, because we are linked to our families, whether we like it or not. As someone said, you can't choose your relatives. But now, with all of the controversy swirling around President Marcos's burial, my objective position is that he should really be buried in Ilocos Norte, in Batak, where he is honored and revered and respected.
In terms of the West Philippine Sea, you've written about foreign policy related to that. You said in one of your articles written in 2015 that finally foreign policy is becoming part of the collective consciousness of the Filipino because of the aggressiveness of China.
Way before Mr. Duterte was elected, where I said that an independent foreign policy means essentially that a people should feel responsible for the defense of their own motherland. They should be ready to die for it if necessary, and fight for it, so that every year we should have a budget for it. It's not kicking the Americans or telling Obama, oh, you're the son of a whore, which I think is quite insulting, especially for women.
That's why you said Mr. Duterte should take a class in basic diplomacy.
Yeah.
Right? You suggested that.
Yeah, well, that was one remedy, maybe. But it's a long-term policy which no one administration can just claim, because it has to be a commitment that whatever happens, we should be there. The West Philippine Sea, of course, when I would get sick or I had a cold, my mother would say, "Oh, you go to the sea and you will get well." So I have links with the West Philippine Sea in a very personal way. So there's some emotion attached to it. It's not just a foreign policy issue, but it's a source
For you,
of
it's personal.
livelihood and comfort and security
Yes.
for the people of that province.
At 87 years old, Mrs. Shahani is truly happy and grateful for a life well lived. She finds greatest pleasure and meaning in giving back to the community and nurturing her spirituality.
The Brahma Kumaris teaches us that all of us in this room are souls, not bodies. That makes communication easier. The life of the Brahma Kumaris is quite elevated. You are in connection with God the whole day, if possible. And then your own lifestyle is linked with what is spiritual. I'm glad that we're ending your visit here in my favorite swing, where I spend really the dusk time or the twilight time of the day here. This is really my favorite spot for meditation, because I can see the West Philippine Sea to the west, and the clouds are all red or pink. And then it's very quiet, and it really is a time to communicate with God, to talk to Him, and to thank Him for the blessings, and to ask Him for His guidance and protection for the next day. It's a wonderful way of closing things. It's like a coda in a symphony orchestra, or the conclusion of a beautiful poem or a book. And so I look at life really as a kind of a work of art. Your life, as Gandhi said, is my message, you see. So when people ask me what's my legacy, well, I think it's the way you've lived your life that's important.